Calling from a 308 area code. Who's this? Where are we calling from?
Hey, it is Kowalski from the hills of Nebraska.
Kowalski from the hills of Nebraska. Are you going to be up here in New York for the show?
No, I intend on being where I am right now in the cab of a tractor picking corn for the endless supplies. So.
How long can you pick the corn? I mean, when is it? Does the first frost kill it? This is all feed corn, so it doesn't matter, does it, or does it?
It could, but everything's past germination, so I don't know. The latest we've ever gone is maybe the middle of November. We're hoping to be done probably the Wednesday after the election.
Okay. Well, I just know that when you get
Once
frost
again,
up here,
the founding fathers.
What's that?
Oh, yes. You guys with your fruit are far more susceptible.
I'm not talking about fruit. I'm talking about corn up here. Once the frost hits, there's no more corn. No more fresh corn.
Kowalski, you are the highest point in Nebraska.
Speaking up into the Wyoming border.
Well, it's, yeah, exactly. If you search highest point in Nebraska, it's a very funny. It just looks like it's in the middle of a flat field. Check that out. Panorama Point.
Yes. But I was just going to give you guys a quick ag update if you are so inclined. If not, I understand.
Let's hear it.
All right. So prices seem to have stabilized right around the break-even number grain-wise in the U.S. This is mostly due to some trouble in South America. They have a combined kerfuffle of historic droughts and historic floods in various areas. Actually, just on a side note, here in Nebraska, we will have an average rainfall for the season, but we had pretty much 80% of our rainfall in the first half of the year.
That's what we had
we dealt with.
in upstate New York. We had that problem, and it was difficult with a lot of stuff. I mean, I think some of the apples, we got an excess of apples in New York State, is my understanding. But
well, production for us was actually fairly good. Nebraska, unlike our friends to the south in Kansas, we have a lot of reservoirs, so we could at least hold on to a lot of that water, and we didn't destroy our groundwater system by over-irrigating. So we also retain a lot of that water in our groundwater, so we've been able to suffice off of irrigating, but it actually has been one of the driest falls we've experienced in a while. But aside from all of that, so production in the U.S., we're probably going to have the second largest crop in history. It would have been better, except we're having marginal issues with some southern diseases that are pushing into the Midwest. And then we're also just dealing with that drought towards the end. It'll probably hurt the yield some. But it's still going to be pretty massive. Prices would be way worse if other areas of the planet weren't being absolutely devastated. Two really big places to keep an eye on right now for massive food insecurity. Obviously, Sudan, that has been an ongoing issue, and the UN is having a lot of troubles getting food in. Oddly enough, I think you guys have said this, John McCain's widow is in charge of a lot of that and has done a pretty good job at trying to get the UN to get more food in, but it's just difficult. The other big one to take a look at is going to be Lebanon. If the Israelis decide to start wiping out the port there, basically they don't have much in food reserves, and that's 80% of their food inlet is through the port of Beirut, so that would be absolutely devastating. I, at this point, would imagine Israel will target it. It would be the easiest way to cause a massive refugee crisis, which is probably the only way they're going to be able to break the front lines. Because right now, Hezbollah has just got them bogged down in a quagmire, and they can't move. But if the civilians start having to do mass evacuations like they did in Syria 10 years ago, it'll probably cause a minor refugee crisis into Europe again, which won't be nice. Part of me is actually kind of curious if the Israelis exacerbated the Syrian crisis to do that last time, just to create massive anti-Arab sentiment across the West. If I had to guess, probably. But just looking at it now, while they're being, just really bold with their actions. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's a little conspiratorial, but that's what I see. So those are the two big areas I would keep an eye out on. It seems like all the other major powers like China and India are going to be fine with production. Australia is doing okay, although there are some weather concerns that are looming, but nothing significant now. So everyone, your food is good for a while.
Kowalski, always a pleasure. Thank you so much, buddy.
Oh, in Nebraska, that's right. We have a couple ballot initiatives. There is one for keeping our abortion laws as they are, basically. Shoot, I just forgot which way you're supposed to vote on that. I'll send an IM on that, but also don't forget Dan Osborn. You guys have to get out and vote for him on that. And the people of Omaha, please don't let us down. We could literally do the funniest thing. So.
Yep. What do you think of Osborne's chances? I mean, I've seen it like his polling numbers seem still to favor what's her name, but what's the sense you have there?
Way more signs than I thought. His ground game has really picked up here towards the end. They have been going toe-to-toe with Deb Fisher on TV advertisements and radio spots. Every time one of her ads plays, it's followed up by an Osborn ad. And it usually goes to just point out how she's been basically completely useless, how her net worth has gone up like 1,300% while in office. It's been pretty funny, although I think a lot of people are starting to experience some fatigue with it because it has been a lot of ads, and I don't think I've seen this many political ads in Nebraska in a very long time.
Right.
So if anybody's going to be able to do it, though, I think he's got a really good shot because, like I said, he's going toe-to-toe with those numbers, and his ground game has been great. He's had over like 130 or 40 campaign stops all across the state, not just in the Lincoln and Omaha area. And I would say Lincoln and Omaha, he's got a lot of support, especially through like unions and stuff. He's been putting in the work. I'm actually really impressed, especially without having a political machine behind him.
Well, we all know if he wins, who paved that road.
Oh, yes. $100,000 I squandered for Fisher.
I'm talking about if he wins, we know the door was open because of Kowalski.
He loosened the lid.
Yep. It's called tilling the ground. You probably know that.
Ever heard of it?
Have you ever heard of it? Tilling. That's what I understand.
It's called cultivation, okay? Planting seeds.
All right. Good.
You have a good one.
Bye. Kowalski, I'm not kidding. He tilled that.
Also, that thing he said about the highest point of Nebraska being right by the Wyoming border, I thought was a funny joke, but it is just literally true.
Oh. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.